Hello everybody. I know I've been gone a long time, so much has happened. I know I'm not the only one. Life is just going extremely fast. Uranus is kicking our ass. Well, it is here anyway. For everyone that wants to know and is praying and everything, thank you. Bear's doing okay. He's tolerating chemo and the immunotherapy and everything very well. And I will say now and will say until the day I die that adding FICO or full extract cannabis oil to the combination of chemotherapies and immunotherapy is definitely the way to go. Bear's been handling the chemotherapy so well. No nausea, no side effects, touch wood, at this point in time. If you ever want to talk about that last thing I talked about, hit me up because I've learned an awful lot. Anyway, I wanted to do a few charts because there's a few times for this awful murder of this beautiful girl Charlise, who was put in a barrel by this guy, and that's her mother there. So on the 11th, apparently she was either from the 11th between 7 p.m. and the 12th of January at 10 a.m. she was murdered, but apparently was seen on the 13th, which doesn't add up, and then her mother called 000 on the 14th at 8:20 in the morning, so she'd already been gone for days. Now the mother's not talking, she's in hospital. I'm going to just give you a quick rundown that the mother hadn't had anything to do with this little girl for a long time because the mother had been in prison already for killing somebody else in her vehicle. She met him, Justin, the mother of little Charlise, in prison while she served a 3-year sentence for causing a car crash that killed someone while she was high on ice. 3 years. That's the stupidity of Australian law. It's the opposite of American. You can kill someone and go to jail just for 3 years and walk out and whatever. Anyway, she's got a history, and she even got her license back. Look, she recently got her license back. Anyway, she hadn't seen her daughter for ages, and then they spent the holidays at this fancy property in Mount Wilson that belonged to the family of this guy. Lots of money around that area. So we're going to have a look at a few charts, see what I reckon. So this is the chart for 7 p.m. on the 11th, when the police think, she was murdered between 7 and 10 the next morning. So we have the moon. Children are typically the moon. She's a little bit too old, but still, the moon is representative of her, and also the mother, as always, and the 4th house here. The perpetrator area is Saturn, Capricorn, so Saturn. Saturn is right here, right on the 8th house cusp of death. Saturn represents, Capricorn and Saturn together represent many things, but buildings, authorities, grandparents, people that are in charge in the household, male figures. So also the physical body as well. So the physical body doesn't look in good shape even straight away at 7 o'clock. And then we have the moon over here in the 10th house, making a square to this Saturn, conjunct Uranus. Now, Uranus is often shows accidents. It doesn't mean that the actual act of it was purely an accident. It was something, it can be something that happened that went too far, and then an accidental result came from that. So whenever we talk accident, it's not always just, oh no, she's slipped and let's hide her in a barrel. That doesn't make sense. So we've got a lot of stuff in this 7th house here. Venus, which rules the end of the matter. The 4th house cusp, which is mum as well. Venus is right there. The sun is right there. So we've got the female, the male again. Pluto, I don't like Pluto sitting there. That's actually not a very nice position. And then Mercury up here next to Saturn, pretty close to it. So look at the 12th house cusp, which is Gemini. That's associated with Mercury. The 12th house cusp is in aspect, to this full area here. There's secrets between two people. One of them's the person that did the act. Now, as you know, and as always, Mercury often shows siblings, cousins, and two people that know each other that aren't these two people. So, is there a third person that knows what happened? Or does the mum know what happened? We need to really look at that one first. The 12th house is also prison as well, by the way, so there's, two people meeting at prison, and then right over there in the death area, it's doesn't look very pretty. Anyway, we'll move along to the next chart. So this is 10 p.m, just a few hours later, and it's interesting because the moon and Uranus are conjunct exactly at this point, both at 10 degrees, and making a really tight aspect to this Mercury here. And Mercury is ruling the midheaven. So I think this is an important time. And not only that, the moon, which was the ruler of CHARLISE, is in the 8th house of death as well. So I actually believe that she was deceased by this time, 10 o'clock. I think it was probably closer to the 7 o'clock mark, earlier in the evening. Again, the DC, so if we look at it as a perpetrator, it's Aquarius, which is ruled by Saturn, making this square to this Uranus and the moon in Taurus, and Uranus, Taurus is boats and the things that he did before he could actually do what he did, buying sandbags, etc. Now, I don't have time for the sandbags because he went to Bunnings, which was a hardware shop, and bought 20-kilo sandbags. Look at the O chart for that and see that one. So, yeah, at 10 o'clock to me it looks like she's deceased. Here's the last time that they think she was deceased, 10 a.m. 10 a.m. the next day, the 12th of January. So, this one's interesting when we look at it. We now have Pisces rising with Neptune in the 1st house. So, the intention of water is already in play at this point. Virgo is on the perp line, which is Mercury. Mercury's over here, conjunct the 12th house, secrets. Saturn, the body, is hidden, being hidden. There's communication at this point. See, there's actually communication, phone calls between the stepfather and the mother as well. So was the communication around this time? Very, very possibly. The end of the matter here is Gemini, which is Mercury, again, two people. Next to that Saturn, which was the original perpetrator. But now we're going to just have a look at the 000 one. So 2 days later than this, the mother decided to call the police. So here's that chart. Let me just grab a pen there. 8:20 a.m. The moon has moved and everything now. The moon is now in Gemini. Now, we have to remember that we're looking at a question. She called 000, saying that her daughter was missing. Did she know where her daughter was and what had happened? So the first place we want to have a look at is the 3rd house cusp, which is ruled by Aries, which in turn is ruled, by Mars up here at the 22 degree of kill or be killed, by the way. In Sagittarius. Now, the 3rd house cusp is 13 degrees. Okay, so it's making a sextile to the physical body. So there's a connection there, a secret she knows something about. The 8th house cusp is ruled by Mercury. Again, Mercury's right next door, even closer now to the body. So to me, it actually appears as though we've also got Uranus right on the IC there as well, very close. So, you know, that's the end result, was that she was put in a barrel, which is a Taurian and a Capricorn type thing, a dark, dank place. But the 3rd house, Mars, in the 11th house, I actually think that she's probably told a 3rd person, even, you know, some other story that she'll come out with. If this was just sudden, she met this guy in prison, they went on holiday and he decided to just viciously kill her child for no reason, it's unusual. It doesn't happen often like that. It doesn't happen over here like that, especially. So Mars being so important in this communication also rules the midheaven. So it's an important point. There's so many planets in this 12th house of secrets, including Saturn and Mercury. And there's Aquarius, which relates to Uranus as well. Down here, Mercury and Uranus are making an exact square now. So there's the two people, the 3rd house of communication and the 12th house of secrets. So the communication to the police, which the police are over here, they are Leo, so they're ruled by the sun. That's also in the 12th house. So, you know, they're being given information, in my perspective, after the fact, and information. I'd like to hear the call. We probably would never, because they don't release things like that here, but the Sun and Pluto are really getting close together there in that 12th house as well. So it's looking like, you know, there was a lot of lies that went on in that phone call. And then, lo and behold, the moon happens to sit in the 4th house of the family, the mother, the home, in Gemini, 2 people. Like I said, it's not a usual, normal type of thing to happen in Australia. It does happen, of course, but to me this smacks of possibly, my end result is that Uranus is obviously very prominent, and Mercury, so it's possible that maybe the child did something that spoke out of turn, you know, said something that he didn't like, said something that they didn't like, because the mother hadn't known the daughter. So, you know, I think there was words exchanged and premeditation, personally, and I do believe that we'll hear that the mother has more to say. But this chart here as well shows me that she was definitely in verbal communication with the guy about the situation. So I believe that she probably knew where she was and was having phone calls the whole time to try and put her in a place that she would never be found. So absolutely awful. But yeah, the chart looks messy, I know. There's plenty more to it. There's going to be, you know, there's obviously a deep reason as to why this happened. But all I can say is that they didn't have an attachment to this girl. They hadn't even known her before the 5th of December. And they were both jailbait. So, you know, ice addict, jailbait equals not good in my eyes. So yeah, Mum's got a bit to answer for, I think. Okay guys, I'll just make that a fairly short one, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Got a little bit of a taste of some astrology, and I hope everybody's well. My prayers with everybody, and Penny, I have got your emails. I haven't forgotten about you. It's just been absolutely non-stop for us at this point in time, but I will get back to you, and I hope this whets your appetite a little bit, guys. If you like it, hit that button, do whatever. You don't have to. Write something to me if you've got questions, whatever. What do you reckon happened? Okay, see you later, guys. Bye.